Go.
Hey.
Welcome back, everyone. I am CCP Swift, joined by CCP Dopamine, here with the Pirate Lord himself, Rixx Javix. You just watched his intro video, or his rather campaign video. Rixx, how are you?
I'm doing great, Swift. Thank you very much. See, I almost stumbled there, but I got it right. So thanks for having me on. Yep, thanks for having me on today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are obviously an infamous pirate, an infamous player in EVE Online with Stay Frosty and A Band Apart. But just in case there are people who have, lived under a rock, or maybe they've only been on the receiving end of your bullets and don't know what your
Right.
campaign thread is all about, why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction to Rixx Javix, the CSM16 candidate?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. And I've been a player since 2008. I've been almost 13 years now. I started playing exactly when EVE was available on the Macintosh. So that's how I know when I started playing. It was, I think, the day after that. So that's how I've been a -10 pirate now for a little over a decade. 8 years ago, I started a corporation called Stay Frosty and an alliance called A Band Apart. So started a blog called Evaganda 11 years ago. Been involved in the community, holding public events. As a matter of fact, back on March the 6th, I hosted an FFA in our home system, which we had built. I think it was close to 8,000 frigates, fully fit, and we handed those out. And the results were about 12,000, a little over 12,000 ships exploded, and not just frigates, but people brought a Revelation. I flew a Naglfar that got blown up by lots of little frigates. We had carriers and other things. So Fozzie was nice enough to confirm that was the record for the most ships ever to be exploded in LowSec for a single day. So that was pretty awesome. People might know me for doing logos and art. I do a lot of art for the community. I've designed a little over 1,200 Alliance logos. The odds are, if you're somewhere on a blog or a Twitch stream or a podcast or something, that the logo they're using is probably done by me. So I'm pretty proud of that. That honestly, it's a little self-serving because it keeps me from doing ratting and things like that. So I do the logos for ISK. So I haven't had to rat or do any PvE for about 10 years now. So, one of the reasons why I'm running for CSM is, is because of that, because I've been involved with the community for so long, because I've been writing and doing art and going to player meets all over the world. Back in the Incarna days, I started doing hats on Twitter accounts in protest for Incarna when one of the art directors at CCP forgot to turn the frills on the Vagabond when they redid the ships. We started a protest in EVE, myself and Mark Sakaris. We had Rome's. We blew up the statue in Jita. What it turned out is kind of a funny story because it turned out that he had just forgotten to turn them on. But so we got the frills back on the Vagabond. I'm a little well known for my stance against warp core stabilizers and a decade-long advocacy I've been doing against those, which is mostly in good spirit. Did a lot of memes and fake ads and things for that over the years. It was a kind of cool story, which I'll share, is that the day of the announcement that warp core stabs had been dealt with last week, I got a DM from Hilmar, and he said, hey, congratulations on the warp core stabs. You're making fun of them and doing all that stuff for years is a big reason why we did it. And I said, well, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Would you mind providing a quote? And he's like, well, I'll have to run it through PR. So a day later, he's like, well, this is the official quote from PR. So I thought that was kind of cool. I got an official quote from Hilmar on my warp core stabs. So I've stood up for things over the years, done a lot of that kind of thing. And I've been involved in the B4R community, broadcast for reps, since the early days. I was in the Coffee Rocks video that CCP produced. So, I mean, it just seemed like a natural extension. My personal life has gotten to the point where my wife and I are both working from home now. Our children are grown or getting there. We're almost out of the house. So this was the first year that I looked over at her and I said, "What do you think about running for CSM this year?" And she said, "I think it'd be a great idea." So here I am, running for CSM, asking everyone for their support. And I guess that's my background. So I'll leave it at that. I'm halfway through my. So now we can talk about what I want to accomplish and things, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely, Rix.
I'm running the meeting.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's exactly what's happening here, Rix. This time is for you. We're just, goofy heads smiling
Right.
and saying different things from time to time. But I think this is a great introduction. It really comes across as you're a very community-oriented person. And as you said, you've been around the block for so long that it's very difficult not to kind of stumble upon your name or maybe see something that your, talented hands have put the creative juices into in terms of logos or creations and whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, I think it would be also important to tell everybody watching us right now and everybody who's going to be watching those videos on YouTube later on why they should consider putting you, on the high position on their ballot. What are you gonna bring into the EVE Online community and maybe how you're gonna interact with them?
Well, sure. I mean, first of all, I would appreciate your vote and your support, and for various reasons. And I think, first of all, that I am probably one of the easiest people to get a hold of. I have a blog. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Discord, and I, talk to players every single day. Yesterday, I probably had 50 or 60 different conversations going at the same time, talking about different subjects. Stay Frosty is pretty notorious for being -10 pirates and solo small gang experts. But one of the things that we do, which you might not be familiar with, is when we blow people up. Well, I'll give you an example. This morning, we killed a procurer in a mining belt. And not only did I give the guy 5 million ISK to replace the procurer, but we had a nice chat for about 20 minutes talking about how to use an overview, how to descan, how to be aligned. So that he wouldn't get caught again. And yesterday we did the same thing with a Vexer that was ratting in our home system. So it's about that. It's also about the fact that I believe that LowSec is a very important part of space. I've been living there for over a decade. I've been a -10 pirate for 10 years, and I believe that faction warfare desperately needs some love and attention. And that the potential for it is great. And I think that we are in a position right now where the technology, where the things that CCP is doing with Palachivan, with the AI and NPCs, would really help faction warfare grow and help LowSec grow. I think it's an important step in the pathway of players between HighSec and null. I also believe that it's a great place to live and make your livelihood, like myself. And I think that I can be the voice to help have that happen. And I think my real life experience, excuse me, being a CEO, having served on board of directors for charities and for small businesses over the years, I think that I bring a lot of experience to the table that maybe a lot of other players don't. And working with groups, getting everybody together, working towards a common goal. That's something that I'm particularly experienced with. And I think that would serve the community and the game as we go into the 20th anniversary here in a few years. So I think that that's why I'm asking for people to vote for me.
All right, but very well put. We don't get to see that many LowSec guys on the CSM, so it'd be a very interesting thing. On that note, we just have a couple minutes left. I do have a question that might be well suited for you since you've been around the EVE block for some time. The CSM is entering its 16th term. It's a very storied institution within EVE. Do you have like a candidate that you've seen go through the halls that you I don't want to say looked up to, but you like really appreciated the work they did that you kind of want to emulate potentially in your CSM run?
Well, yes, there's quite a few. I've actually been involved with other people's candidacies before, uh, but Mike Azariah is a good friend of mine. Mike showed up on my very first public event back in 2009. We did a death race through Providence, and Mike showed up with a Hulk full of strippers, and we've been friends ever since. I actually went to Vancouver 2 years ago at the end of a Eve cruise just to visit Mike, and he showed us around the city. So we're good friends. Mike's a great guy, and if I could be, I mean, he's a high secker, so but yeah, if I could be if I could be half the candidate that Mike Azaria is, then I'd be happy. So yes, thanks, guys. I appreciate the time, and vote Rixx for CSM, please. Thank you.
No,
All
thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you very much, Rixx.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, not a single problem. Rix, thanks a lot for coming up. It's always great to see you and talk to you, buddy.
Yeah,
Uh,
you too, man.
right now, we just gonna keep the ball rolling. We have a plenty of more candidates to talk to today. Next, we have Dr. Spot, who also prepared a video. So, guys, let's just put you in a little transition here. We're gonna play a video, and then we're gonna bring the next gentleman for a little conversation. Don't go anywhere, but if you wanna grab a drink, now is the time to do it. But you need to be back here in a couple of minutes because we're not gonna be waiting for anybody.